From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, all of your questions. Is the number one overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft in the Florida State locker room now? We'll talk about that and many more topics. Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallybar.com is the website. Lunch special on Thursdays, chicken or steak sandwich, cheesesteak sandwich, chicken Philly, however you want to call it. You can have it your way over at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill for only $8.99 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Comes with your choice of a straight fries, curly fries, onion rings, potato salad, broccoli, side salad, tater tots, or freshly cooked potato chip side. All for only $8.99 at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. It is also bingo night over at the CP. Check it out. That barcode, QR code, you can always scan it. It takes you right to the website. But it's 2475 Appalachia Parkway. Told you what's going on socially. Gave you the lunch menu. What else do you want to know? It's awesome. Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. Thumbs up, 5-star rating review, please. Not a lot of preamble, Corey. I trust that you're doing well. Let's get to the Renegade Express, if you don't mind.
Let's do it, man. Quit screwing around. Let's get to it.
All right. Thomas Orton. I'm going to shorten some of these up. We're on a little bit of a time crunch over here, but we'll try to get to all of them. Thomas Orton more or less asks, where would Florida State be right now had they won the first two games of the 2021 season, Corey? Had they beat Notre Dame, had they beat the other team the next week, would they be coming off a nail-biting win over Georgia in this past year's playoff? Also, Corey, he's lost 9 pounds thanks in part to the vodka Mio stuff, so he wants to thank you for that as well.
Oh, there you go. I'm changing lives, Aslan. That feels good. That feels good to hear.
That's right.
I don't know that. No, I don't think they're. I think they'd have a 2-game bowl streak or 2-season bowl streak. I think that would be the only difference between what happened in 2022 and what happened. That I don't know that anything else changes.
Do they have Travis Hunter?
I think 7-5 and 5-7. That's not too big a difference. The Jacksonville State one was obviously just a train wreck, but other than that, that was a 6-6 football team that kind of played like it. So I don't know that 1 or 2 wins either way really changes what happens the following year, right?
Would they have had Travis Hunter?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
That's the only thing I can
I mean,
think
he went to Jackson State, and then he went to Colorado. So clearly records don't matter, and I'm making more of an indictment of Colorado. Clearly records don't matter. Our history and tradition don't matter. It was just he was going to go with Deion. Deion could be coaching at UTEP. He could be coaching on the moon, and apparently Travis Hunter would be with him.
Old Dad's and old, wake up. Thank God for the portal. It appears, and I could be wrong, but Robert Scott may be the only offensive starter that was recruited by Mike Norvell and this staff out of high school. Maybe 1 or 2 on the defense in the backfield, and that's about it. In a top 5 talent-rich state, now 4 classes in, coming off a winning season, and with this being such a money year for so many players on this roster, what does the future hold for FSU at replacing starters as quickly as next season if this trend continues? Is it doable? Cheers, old Dad.
It's definitely doable in the portal. I don't know that you're going to go get a lot of guys. I thought it was more of a question about the recruiting. But yeah, I guess it's more of a question about the portal. And yes, I think you're gonna bring in 10 or 11 or 12 guys next year in the portal, because you look at the makeup of this roster, I don't see like an undercurrent of young players kind of rising to the top. I just don't see that's how this thing is structured. It's a lot of experience and veteran dudes and transfers. And I think when they leave, you're going to cycle in a new case of transfers. I think more than half the roster next year, more than half the starting 22 next year could be transfers as well.
Yeah, I mean,
including quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Shaheem's a guy that they recruited that probably would start, but at defensive backfield, linebacker. I mean, Deloach is a Willie guy, unless DJ kind of muscles his way in there. Joshua Farmer's a guy they recruited, but if you go and look back at that first 2020 class, it's really not that bad. They got Toafili, they got Ja'Kai, Kentron, Robert Scott, Tate, Darion, Marqueson. Did I already say Marqueson? Marqueson's part of that. DJ Lundy. So listen, all told, only having 3 weeks to get that class done coming off 2 horrible seasons. Not that bad. Not that bad. But, yeah, they're going to have to go into the portal to reload. No reason to think, I don't know, man, like maybe this is being a little bit of a homer, but they've kind of done it 2 years in a row. It feels like, at least replacing Jermaine with Jared Verse, that you feel like they've figured out who to go after, what fits, what works, and that's probably more than half the battle when it comes to replenishing your roster when it comes to the portal. But certainly at some point you would like to see the high school stuff maybe taking off so you're not as, back against the wall, right, Corey, when it comes to having to constantly find guys that are disgruntled elsewhere, wanting bigger, better opportunities here.
And what's been cool, though, when you look at the totality of the guys they brought in, is certainly the guys that have been good players here, the portal guys, most of them, save for Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas, that 1 year, they've been at least, they're multi-year guys. Johnny Wilson's going into a second year. Jared Verse, Jamie Robinson had 2 years. Daryl Jackson's got multiple years to play. So they have done I know Cypress and Fisk are 1 year guys, but Winston Wright's here for another year. Micah Pittman's here for another year. So Deuce Spann, Trey Benson. Like, they've done a really good job. Dylan Gibbons. They've done a really good job of getting multi-year transfers. And when you can do that, you really can build some depth and build a culture and everything you're trying to do that he's trying to do. It's those 1 year guys like Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas were great. But it makes it so much more healthy for the program if you can get dudes when they're young and get them for more than just 1 year.
Our guy B50, and we will also package it with our guy or gal maybe, Vicar Sam. Let us know how to pronounce it. I've been butchering it now forever. With all the talent on the receiving and running backs rooms, do you see Jordan Travis being able to put up enough stats to win the Heisman? And then this is kind of augmented with B50's question about, let's be really optimistic. Let's say Jordan wins the ACC, wins the Heisman, beats Georgia for a national title. Is Jordan the consensus number 1 pick in the NFL draft?
No, that would not happen. The kid at USC, no matter what happens, is the consensus number 1 pick, the quarterback there. Jordan Travis, just his measurables aren't what they're typically looking for. And he's also an older guy. He'd be an older quarterback. I think that you absolutely would not pencil him in as the number 1 overall pick. But if all that happens, who cares?
Right.
He'll get picked. He'll get drafted for sure, but who cares? Like, for Florida State's purposes, it will have been a remarkable year, and he goes down as an all-time great, which I'm sure he'd be very, very excited about. But no, Caleb Williams is the guy that I think is the consensus number 1 overall pick, right?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, they're even saying that what's his name, Drake May, is like a top 5 pick. We'll see. People. I mean, and we're always wrong about quarterbacks. Like, there's always a Drake May or a Sam Howell, these guys that are projected to be first-round picks after their freshman or sophomore years. Jimmy Clausen. A lot of times it doesn't work out. Going back to the first question, though, yeah, look, I think we're in a spell in college football here where I don't know that quarterback stats even matter all that much because they're all so goofy. Like, I don't know what Drake May threw for last year, 4,000 yards, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. I don't know. It's what you do in the big games and the big moments. You have to win games, and you have to have Heisman, quote-unquote, Heisman-worthy plays, Heisman-type plays. Think, for instance, the 2 scrambles against Florida. If Jordan Travis is even with Caleb Williams, they're going neck and neck. It's 1 and 1A or 1 and 1C going into that last weekend. And Jordan Travis has those 2 plays to help his team win a game. He wins the Heisman because of it. Those are the kind of plays that you can win a Heisman. You have to have good stats. You really have to have great stats as a quarterback, which he will probably. He's not going to throw for 5,000 yards because that's not what they do. He's not going to probably average 300 yards because that's not what they do. But if he has a high completion percentage, high touchdowns, low interceptions, and the same number of rushing touchdowns he's had the first 2 years, and they're winning games, and he's making a few of those special, ridiculous plays, I think that he'll be right there in contention going in the last few weeks of the season. For the record, Caleb Williams is 6'1", 220. Jordan is 6'1", 212. But, I mean, Caleb's arm is just special.
It's a different arm. I thought he was bigger than that. I thought he was like 6'4". 6'1". So I guess the measurable in the sense of actually measuring him with a ruler, they're about the same. I think when you watch the arm talent, It's a little different. And that's no slight to Jordan Travis. I mean, I just think you're talking about a guy that has, like Aslan said, just a special right arm. And he's, but I'll be honest with you, I don't like that what he writes on his sneakers, Aslan, or is it on his fingernails? He does something before the game where he'll say like "F you, Colorado,"
right? Yeah,
on his finger. I'm like, what's that about, man? I don't want you a part of my franchise. I probably would if I'm a Falcon fan. If the Falcons somehow have the number 1 overall pick, I'll get past him saying "F you" to every team that he plays. It just seems so aggressive.
Yeah. Well, hey, we all
for no reason.
Yeah, there's all those guys that got to have that fake chip on the shoulder kind of thing. Y'all doubted me. Y'all slept on me. Hey, man,
yeah, that's
you're a
true.
first-round pick, man. No one doubted you.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, you were ranked 3 in the preseason. Yeah. Everybody thought you were going to be good.
He does ask a follow-up, do the measurables hurt Jordan? Do you see Jordan as a decade-long cornerstone piece for a franchise? So maybe he's not the first overall pick. If he does all that, listen, if he wins the ACC, wins the Heisman, wins a national championship, I think the entire conversation around him changes because that obviously any sort of durability question is out the window, and he has performed at an extremely high level with a skill set that's kind of a blend of, a lot of what you're seeing in the NFL, right? Like you see a guy like maybe like Tua that's a pretty decent pocket passer, but you see Patrick Mahomes in the way that he can stay in the pocket but also make things happen when stuff breaks down. Now, Jordan doesn't have nearly the arm strength that Mahomes does, but he's got that kind of escapability to a little bit of a degree. So I think you see a lot of that kind of stuff. And like if he can do it in Saturdays and put it on tape consistently, stay healthy, and put all that together in a big season, I don't know if it'd be the number 1 consensus pick, but I could see him maybe then hanging on for being a franchise quarterback at that point. But
what'll be? Look, man, just get in the league and stay in the league. That's all we're hoping for Jordan Travis, and hopefully gets a shot, gets a break, and can play for a long time. I think a really good gauge of where Jordan Travis might be selected is let's watch where Stetson Bennett goes. Stetson Bennett's a very good athlete. He's not quite the runner that Jordan Travis is, but he's not far off. He's a good athlete. He's not quite as physically built as Jordan Travis, but again, he's not far off, and he can make some throws. And he won 2 national championships and got invited to New York for the Heisman. So let's see what the NFL thinks of him. Now, I think he does have a bit of the walk-on stigma attached to him that Jordan doesn't. But still, I think that'll be an interesting gauge to see where NFL – because he's got the same issues that would affect Jordan Travis, mainly height and maybe a little bit of arm strength. Again, not Caleb Williams, Pat Mahomes type arm strength. Those would still be question marks for somebody like Stetson Bennett too. So I would be interested to see. I think he will get drafted. I'm interested to see where Stetson goes, and I think you can maybe project that Jordan Travis would. If Stetson Bennett's a 4th round pick, maybe if Jordan Travis does all those things we're talking about, you project him as a 3rd round pick or a late 2nd or something like that.
Yeah. My only thing is I can't imagine like when the defensive end in the NFL gets his hand on Jordan that he's not going to be slowed down. Like in college, he just breaks it off, sheds it like it's nothing. I just feel like I don't want to say Von Miller. It's got to be somebody that's a little bit more recent than Von Miller. But like if a guy like that gets his hands on him.
One of the white guys, man. Just think of one of the white defensive ends. They're everywhere now.
TJ Watt grabs him. He's not going anywhere. And so much of his stuff is being on time, being on schedule, being in rhythm, them calling the right plays, him calling the right check, and then everything working out, which, hey, man, that's great. Like, you have to be cerebral at that position. You have to know what's going on. But, man, so much of his stuff feels like, all right, man, right read, guy's open, I'll make the throw. Yeah. Whereas like, in the NFL, so much of it's anticipation and really good coverage, and you're having to force it into a tight window, and you have to have the strength to make it happen. But, yeah, let's follow up in 27 weeks or whatever after all this is done, and we'll see how good we feel about him after a national
championship. We'll be answering this question when you and I are up in New York.
Yeah.
In middle of December for the Heisman ceremony. The Boses, those are the
all right,
roll with the Boses. There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a Niners guy. I should have known that.
The Raiders guy, Crosby, he's really good.
Yeah, all right. I love it. Oh, Seminole life. Wake up, fellas. What changes would you guys make to Doak Campbell Stadium if you had the opportunity? I know we've seen some changes recently with the Champions Club and future changes coming up, but I was curious what you guys would want to see done to make it better. I appreciate you guys for all you do. Go Noles. By the way, shout out to you, Seven Life, you and the missus. Saw your the direct message you sent to us. And Corey, man, good vibes to you and your missus, man. Hope hope things are trending well in your guys' week and even further out than that, man. But appreciate the message, and thanks for the question. What would you change at Doak, Corey, if you had the opportunity? I can go first if you want to brainstorm. I mean, now that they're going to have that football-only facility, doing pretty much, removing all that parking out front of Moore next to the Bowden statue, I would guess. Like, I wish they could do some sort of green space from that tunnel up into, like, the Bowden statue and make that kind of like a hub for tailgating. Although, I don't know, I guess maybe that's what that IM field in College Town is always going to be. But it would just be really cool if there was something in the shadow of the stadium, like that close to where you could tailgate and hang out. Like, for me, Doak, I don't know, man. The replay board's cool. The ribbon boards are cool. It's brick. I love it. I don't know, maybe folding chairs or whatever. Like no longer the metal bleachers. If everything was garnet, maybe that garnet and gold seats, that would look nice aesthetically. Because they're going to probably start taking out some seating to make these other things happen. So I'm cool with the folding chairs. But otherwise, for me, it's like the tailgating experience, man. Like it's part of campus, but College Town's not campus. I just wish there was something a little bit more, I don't know, organic, grassroots, and like, here's this glossy thing that we created all for you guys getting drunk before the game, which is cool,
Sure.
but, it doesn't feel as, to the letter of the college pageantry law. That's me, Corey.
I'll be an old man here. Maybe less fireworks. Don't need them at all. I'll be honest with you. Just don't need them at all. Maybe more band, like actual marching band, marching chiefs playing. Less, but that's not really – that's the experience. I don't know changes to Doak. I don't like the video board. I don't think they do a good job with it. It's not – by the way, I want to give a shout-out to the baseball video board folks because I went to the softball game on Sunday, and I saw that, like, when Kaylee Mudge came up for his second at-bat, she had just hit a home run for her previous at-bat. When she came up, it showed on the video board, previous at-bat, and it showed her home run, the video replay of her home run. And I'm like, well, that's a nice touch. I wish the baseball team would do that. They could learn something from this. And what do you know they do? Jordan, when I went to the game on Tuesday, I saw for Jordan Carrion came up to bat, and they said previous at bat, and they showed a highlight of his double off the screen. So I'm like, okay,
right.
things are happening a little bit. Now, they're still terrible with the instant replay. They don't give you any replays on the video board for that. And there's still some stuff to do with the stats. It's fine. I would love to know one player's name on the other team, just one. Doesn't have to be all 9. Clearly, that's not going to happen. But just the kid that's second in the country in home runs. Maybe have his name up there. But anyway, so I don't think they do great with the video board at Doak. I think they could get a higher quality one, better replays, more continuous score updates, because people do really care about other scores. They really do. Especially at a football school like Florida State, especially if you're going to be top 10 in the country and you're wondering how all the other really good teams in the country are doing, maybe do that. Maybe give an upset alert. If a team's trailing in the third quarter, like Alabama's losing Ole Miss, put an upset alert on the video board so people can kind of just stay in tune with what's going on around the country, because I feel like that's a lot of the reason some people don't want to go, because they feel like they're missing out on the rest of the games. But if you can at least keep them somewhat in tune and maybe do highlights more than – like you could do highlights while the marching chiefs are playing during a TV timeout. I know you've got to sell Moe's or whatever in the world they're selling where somebody has to dance for a free burrito, whatever they do in the middle of the TV timeouts. But you could use that video board in a much better way because you spend a lot of money on it. So it should be used better. But and look, man, the one thing that isn't going away anytime soon, that is the biggest eyesore of them all, is the Champions Club. But I don't know what you can do about it. Like they will sell out. That Clemson game was a sellout or close to it. And in the back of the end zone, it looks like there are 7,000 empty seats. And I just don't think that will ever change. And it's a bummer.
Well, they're going to make them the Loge boxes and all these different things.
Okay.
So.
I hope, man. I can't wait. Oh, and also, selfishly, get rid of the I want an open-air press box.
Yes.
That's what I want. I even told Michael Alford that. I also told him about the baseball video board, and y'all saw what happened there.
All right.
Immediately, some stuff started happening. I make things happen. I told him last year when he rolled through and saw maybe it was the Duquesne game, where we couldn't see for the first quarter because of the glass being all fogged. And we can't open the windows. And he's like, wow, this isn't good for you guys. And I'm like, no, it isn't, sir. It isn't at all. I have to go to the roof to watch the game. So maybe Michael Alford can just somehow. I mean, what would it take? It'd probably take 20 minutes, wouldn't it, just to break all that glass?
Yeah.
And we'll go clean it up. The shards of glass will rain down on the seats below us, but we'll go clean it up. We'll do this. We'll do it in July, man. I bet every media member would race to Doak to knock out that glass in the press box, because there is nothing cooler than an open air press box, man. I love it. You get a sense of the game. You get a feel for the game. And those that glass is almost, it must be bulletproof because it's almost soundproof. And you just don't get a real sense of how loud the crowd is and the energy of the crowd, and that's what makes college football fun. So let's get rid of the glass.
Speaking about the energy of the crowd, they'll be buzzed this year taking their Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com, promo code WARCHANT, BOGO, B-O-G-O. So many benefits in one little shot, supports weight loss, 7 hours of energy, it tastes great, it's convenient to drink, it's in a bottle that's less than 2 ounces, it fits in your pocket, there's no sugar crash because there's no sugar in it. And it's packed with B vitamins, including B12 and B6 and others for a healthy immune system, and it acts really fast. Take a quick sip. It's instantly absorbed in your body. Can't go wrong with any of these varieties. The vitamin D, 100%, the Sport Plus, the B12, 14,000%, the Mood Plus, the Burner Plus, the Focus Plus. It's all there. Try it out. You don't know which one you want? You can buy one and get one free. They got a variety pack as well. Go to vitaminenergy.com. Use the promo code WARCHANTBOGO, B-O-G-O, that is, for your order. Again, courtesy of our friends over at vitaminenergy.com, all ACC performers that are alums over there. So they're hooking us up. Take advantage of it. Shake it and take it. vitaminenergy.com. Again, the promo code WARCHANTBOGO.
Azon, what is Vitamin Energy's? What is their rival? Do they have a rival? What would you say their main rival is?
Probably 5 Hour.
The 5 Hour Energy stuff
Yeah.
that you see in the gas stations every
Yeah.
night. I just want people to know, whoever makes 5 Hour Energy, and I don't know, it might be another country. I don't know where that stuff's coming from, but I can promise you they're not Noles.
Nope.
They're not Florida State grads making that stuff. So why are you spending your money on that energy when you could be helping out the Florida State family? That's all I'm saying. I'm just throwing that out there. Even if for whatever reason I've been a 5 Hour Energy guy for 10 years. I'm going to stick with it. Man, it's time to make a change.
Yep.
Because you're bettering the program. That all that money ends up somehow, one way or another, it's cycling through Florida State. That's all I'm saying. You're helping out Noles. Those Noles will probably help out Florida State. They're certainly helping out our show. It's all cyclical. Or you can stick with 5 Energy and just be a trader.
Yeah.
So choice is yours, gang.
By the way, Vitamin Energy is made in America. So there you go.
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
All right, back to it. Primo Nole 1. Wake up. Hope your guys' week's been going well. Thank you. One question, observation as well. Question, I haven't heard much about Darian Williamson. Didn't know if it was like the Travis situation, where he's just a master of the offense and playing at the most elite level, or is he racking up miles on the bike?
Well, he's not playing at an elite level.
Okay. Well said. The observation, Destin Hill. I have never seen him. Do you think he might just be a propaganda machine, hyping up the recruiting trail for the fans, or how well the staff can recruit? We'll find out soon enough, man. May's right around the corner.
It's not a bad thought. It's not a bad idea. It's like Sports Illustrated did that famous April Fool's story like 40 years ago on that prospect named Sid Finch. I think that was his name, Sid Finch.
Yeah.
And he was this guy that threw 108 miles an hour and lived in his van. This guy nobody had ever heard of, and he just walked onto the Mets tryout and was throwing 108, and he was going to make his spring training debut, and everybody was all excited. And it was all a prank. It was all an April Fool's joke. But I don't know that the story actually said that it was fiction. So there are all these people that rolled into Port St. Lucie to get their look at Sid Finch. And he did not exist. Now, Dwight Gooden did, and Sid Fernandez did, and all those guys, but Sid Finch did not.
Was that George Plimpton who did it?
It could be. I don't remember. That sounds right, but I don't know that it was George Plimpton. It might have been. I don't know.
It was, yeah. Sid Finch. Sid with 2 Ds.
Yeah.
Sid with 2 Ds. April
What
Fool's
year?
Hoax article written by, let's see here, 1985.
Okay. Dwight Gooden.
Yeah. Look at you, Corey. Not that anybody doubted you, but Anyhow.
Yeah, man, I know my stuff.
Let's go to Naples. Our guy, Mark. Wake up! Difficult to talk about this, but here it goes. Oh, it's not that difficult. I kind of read this beforehand. All right, he basically was asking, have any two programs done a 180 in 2 years at the same time the way that Florida State basketball and football have? Where you had a basketball team that was on the cusp of probably making a Final Four push, but then COVID happened. Meanwhile, that football team couldn't even win 4 football games. And then, 2 years later, you're winning the Snack Bowl, and you can't even make it into the NIT or the CBI or whatever other third-tier tournament is out there. I cannot think of anything where like two.
I'm sure that's happened. It certainly hasn't happened to Florida State in my lifetime, where it's been like, because look, man, you're talking about, and you throw baseball in there too. You're talking about the worst seasons in school history. I would argue that the 2020 Florida State football team was going to suffer the second or third worst season in school history. They were going to go 3-8 or 3-9 with 7 or 8 just horrible blowout losses if that season had been played in full. They got lucky they didn't have to play Clemson and Florida, which were two of the best offenses in the country. They would have given up 60 points in each game.
Nor Wake or Virginia. They were really good that year too.
Yeah, so I mean, they got really, really lucky to only finish 3-6, but that was a 2-10, 3-9 football team. Just an awful, and would have had one of the worst point differentials in the country. So they got a break that they missed 3 of those games. But yes, it was awful. That was as bad as the football team has been at Florida State since 1974. And then now the basketball team had its worst season of all time. The baseball team is about to have its first losing season in school history. I shouldn't say about to. There's still half the season left, but we all can read the tea leaves, folks. So I was thinking about that today, driving back from my workout. It's like, man, how many very proud athletic programs like Florida State that pats itself on the back, and rightfully so, for being good at almost everything all the time. Mm-hmm. The number one sport by far is in a good spot. The number 2 and number 3 sport is not at all. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a run like this where clearly there hasn't. It was just the worst season in basketball history, and it's about to be the worst season in baseball history, and they're happening simultaneously. That to me is more bizarre than the flip of football and basketball happening within a 2-year span. I mean, the odds of the Florida State baseball and basketball teams having their worst ever records in the same year is some crazy stuff, man. That's just weird and not very enjoyable. And so I was wondering, like that, like has USC, has their basketball team and baseball team at the same time been horrible? Has Florida's basketball team ever had a 9-23 record in recent years? I'm saying, because I don't think it has. They're always NIT-ish if they're not in the NCAA tournament. But this was such a bad basketball season, and then compounded by an awful baseball season. It's just a lot of heartache. But then you got the football team that's here. You got KJ Bolden on campus for a couple of days. Things are looking up in the sport that matters most. But man, it's a bummer that those other 2 sports are suffering the seasons that they have and are.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because maybe like, I don't know, Arizona State, Southern Cal, they had really good baseball teams, but I mean, I don't know if they fell off a cliff and then that coincided with like Pete Carroll showing up. I was trying to think about like North Carolina, maybe like Bill Guthridge, and then Mac doing really well, then he leaves, and then, the basketball program, but I don't think they overlapped.
I was going to say, I think Mac maybe left a year before Dean Smith retired. I think. Yeah. I could be wrong though. I know Mac's last year at Carolina. I'm almost positive it was 97. And then I thought Dean got to one more Final Four. Maybe that was 98. Maybe that was 96 though. Who knows?
Mac Brown's last year was 97. Bill Guthridge. His first year, they made the Final Four 97-98 season, but after that, they went out in the first round. And then they made it to the Final Four the year after that. So then, no, North Carolina doesn't. I mean, look, man, to go from – we talked about it last week with San Diego State. Like, they were in the same boat that Florida State was in 2020. And their basketball team just played for a national championship. Florida State had a chance to be a 1 or a 2 seed in the 2020 tournament, and they just didn't win 10 games.
So it is not normal to be as good as the basketball team was just 3 years ago. And I was in Indianapolis for 2 straight weekends watching them in the NCAA tournament the year after that in 2021. And to go from that to what we witnessed this past year is not normal, no matter what the football team is doing. I think that's the bigger story and the bigger gripe is, man, what in the world happened to the basketball team to do a 180 that quickly? But it did help that the football team turned it around. That's more important. We all know that.
He does say in here, thanks again for turning it around, Corey, at the Norvell presser. So he did include that.
I guess it's time for me to talk to Link like that, or Leonard, both. I mean, it's time, right? Like, I want to ask Link, like, why would anybody come here and play for this team right now? Just see what he says. Just see what he says.
Also, Mark says, what's on the menu for Easter? They're doing lamb chops, ham, and some of his mother's famous Polish food.
Okay. What about you, Aslan? Rabbit?
Yeah, we just do dyed eggs, deviled eggs. Dyed.
Nice. That's nice. I don't really. I think I'm going to be down here by myself without my son. So I think I'm probably going to have maybe a pizza or something. Don't really do an Easter dinner.
All right. By the way, everybody, Corey he's not driving. He's at his house. We had technical issues, so we've plugged him in, old school.
Wasn't we? It was me. I apologize, everyone. I'm trying my best. I'm spitting all over my phone. I have noticed that.
Okay. Well, it keeps cutting in and out, so maybe it's that. So stop spitting.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
FSU man 50-30. Wake up! I was really hoping Omarion Cooper would become the player he was freshman year and take over at safety. Also hoping that Azarie would take a step. I feel like our highest potential secondary is Fenchel Cypress, Renardo Green, Azarie, Shaheem, and Doak. Any chance these guys step up?
I mean, yeah, Azarie did on Tuesday, right, Aslan?
Yeah. Shaheem's got a lot of runway in front of him. I mean, Duke's kind of playing a new position. Fentrell is learning new nomenclature, maybe some new techniques. Renardo's, one more year into playing cornerback. Yeah, sure. That's Akeem, though, conspicuously absent from that. That's not part of your highest potential secondary, huh? 50-30 FSU, man. That's interesting.
And don't forget about Greedy and Jarian. I mean, they're the one guy that's kind of been kind of lost in the mix, and it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in August, is Noles.
Yeah.
Because he was good as a freshman, man, and he was not good last year by and large. And he's going to have to fight to get on the field, like really fight. And I would say right now, looking at this football team in early April, I don't expect him to be in the rotation. Doesn't mean he can't be. But he's going to have to climb up the charts, and he's going to have to play really well in August. And again, that's not necessarily great news for Kevin Noles, but it's really good news for Noles fans, Noles, Noles fans, I should say, because it means that the depth has gotten to a point where a guy that was one of your best players 2 years ago can't get on the field now. And there's a chance he can't get on the field now. Greedy Vance has been better than him since, I don't know, man, October. And Greedy Vance is back. Jarian Jones has been a nice player. That's a good depth piece, man. That's just good to have those guys.
Kevin graded out at 59.8 freshman year. Last year he graded out at 53.9 on PFF, in case you were wondering, people. So,
yikes.
Yeah, you got to be
not
60.
Great.
You want to be at least 60. Yeah. 60 is like, all right, we can live with that. Can't live anything below that. All right, the Walking Nolo 1. What's up, you two? Easy, fast question for the show. If by some chance FSU baseball were to pull off a stunner and pull off a winning season, 500 or better, would Corey be up for another champagne bath? It would be a good tip of the hat to our boys from that 48 season, since they laid the foundation for never having a losing season with that strong 9-8.
That's not a bad play. And I also think it would be a tip of the hat to the guys that have been playing Florida State baseball for the last 75 years. You know what I mean? Like, they've never had a losing season. That's crazy. Think about that, folks. That's nuts. I looked at it twice. Like, that's crazy to go 75. So 48 to 23. Isn't that? Am I doing that right? That's 75 years. They have never had a losing season in this program's history. That is a testament to everybody that's walked through that stadium and played on that field. And so, absolutely. not because these guys deserve it if they somehow miracle a 28-27 record, but because of all the guys that came before them, from the Smitty McGillicuddy in 1951, Tuffy Durden. I don't know who played in the 50s, to Dick Hauser and J.D. Drew and Luis Alisei and all those guys. Like, they all deserve a champagne bath. So yes, if they somehow get to a winning record, I don't think I'm gonna have to do this. Don't think anybody's gonna collect. But if that happens, I will absolutely dump champagne on myself.
I almost want to like unleash the worst take in the history of this program.
Oh,
Just, I want to win in Omaha. I want it. It's the
Okay.
one thing that's eluded us.
right.
But man, I don't know if I want it at this cost. The whole thing, like, would you take a losing season to win a national championship? Probably, yeah. But this is going to – I don't like these – I don't like losing these streaks. I'm a very nostalgic person. I like being able to look back on things. And and they're tied with Miami for the longest consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament. Like, one more year. Like, you couldn't just have a bad year next year maybe? It's so sad, dude. The way you ended the show on Tuesday was sobering, man. They've been playing
About the Jared Verse slapping the – oh, by the way, so we heard from somebody that would know about the kicking situation on Tuesday. I want to get this out there.
Okay.
Because we wouldn't be asked about it probably. Apparently, on the ball that Fitzgerald kicked straight sideways, the hold by Mastromanno, the ball was tipping down as he was kicking it. So that was not necessarily his fault. Or and the problem is, Mike, hey man, we're 1,000 yards away. If you got us closer, we could be on the field squirting the kickers with water bottles.
Yeah.
We'd have seen that the ball was slipped out of Mastromanno's hands when he was kicking it. But we can't because we're so far away. So if that is the case, which I'm sure the person wouldn't be lying about this, I do apologize. Fitzy, you're on our good side again.
Noel Boyo 2, wake up. Happy Easter.
But how did I end the show? How did I end the show talking about baseball?
Well, no, you talked just about, you're like, I went and looked, they haven't had a losing season ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wow. And it's going to happen. We're going to live through it. We're going to live through it. But we're going to live through it. We're not going to die, so I guess it's not that bad.
Exactly right. Yep. Hey, silver lining, folks.
Yeah. Noel Boyo 2, I saw a thread asking who Trey Benson reminds people of. I was wondering what players do Jordan Travis and Jared Verse remind you of? And what coach does Norvell remind you of? He's a one in a million. I can't think of anybody that reminds you of Mike Norvell. Jordan Travis, he says, Russell Wilson, not sure on Verse. He thinks Norvell reminds him of early Jimbo. Y'all take care. Have an awesome Easter. As always, go Noles.
He's not quite as maniacal as early Jimbo, but it's not far off. And I didn't get to see early Jimbo. Are we talking about early Jimbo Florida State? Because even then he was like in his 40s. He was older then than Norvell is now, I think, when he was just the OC at Florida State. So I don't know that I would equate it to that. But they are both very intense people on the practice field. I would say Norvell, again, he watches more of it because Jimbo is just with the quarterbacks the whole time. In the offense, Norvell's walking from drill to drill, watching everybody do everything. So, so to me, that means that he's more hands-on. Now, he lets his coaches coach, just like Jimbo, just like Bobby did, but he's also hands-on in the middle of a practice too. He'll tell a defensive lineman that he did something wrong, just like you will a wide receiver or a quarterback. So, I don't know that who I would compare him to.
Pete
and
Carroll.
I compare
How about
Verse.
Pete Carroll? I'd say Pete Carroll because he seems like he's got some fun in him, but when it comes down to getting down to business, he'll kind of lock in. But man, he has like a boyish playfulness to him that I can't imagine any other national. Like Nick doesn't have that in him. At least doesn't show it. Like Kirby doesn't show it. I don't think Ed Orgeron showed it. I don't know who else has won national titles here. That's Ryan. Ryan didn't win one. Like Urban, he's not built from that cloth, man. Which is cool if this actually ends up working out. Like you found yourself the anomaly. Who doesn't love that? But I would say maybe like Pete Carroll because he has like a playful sense to him that you don't see a lot of higher level coaches.
But not in practice. He doesn't though, right? Like his playfulness comes when he's talking to us or after practice when he's interacting with the players.
Yeah, but
Pete
like
Carroll's
Saban doesn't
goofy
crack
during
jokes.
practice.
Yeah, but like Kirby doesn't
Oh,
crack
yeah, no, I
jokes.
got you.
They're always on. Like they're always on. Like Norvell will like be a human being for 15 minutes. So that's cool.
I was going to say, I've seen some behind-the-scenes footage of Kirby, and I think he's got a little Kirby in him because Kirby is an intense dude who yells a lot, but he also yells positive things a lot to his players. And if you heard that recording when they were in the locker room before the championship game, I think Norvell has some of that in him. Like, let's go out there and kick the blank out of them. You guys are better than they are. Let's go show them. You train harder than them. Go work them. Like, I do think he's got kind of that S-talking, that Angel Reese mentality. I think he's got a little bit of that in him. Now, he does a good job of not showing it off that much, but I think he's got a little bit of that S-talk in him that Kirby has. And yeah, I think I like the Pete Carroll analogy, except that I see Pete Carroll being kind of goofy and fun-hearted, lighthearted during actual practices when he's mic'd up, and I've seen all that footage of him at USC and then obviously at Seattle. I don't see Norvell cracking a lot of jokes during practice.
He runs, he chases after players before practice starts. Come on, man.
I know, but I don't want people to think that you're watching him.
He's cracked jokes on Johnny Wilson for like not blocking a kick. He's like, "Oh, good job, Johnny. Like you couldn't jump any. That's all you could jump on." Like he was cracking jokes because he missed like blocking a kick one year. He's having fun out there. Come on.
You would describe his demeanor during that 2-hour practice as playful?
No, but he has moments of it. Like you're making it seem like he's out there like he's Vince Lombardi or Bill Belichick the whole time. No, man.
There's a big gray area between those two. I don't want people to get the wrong idea that he's joking around he has his moments, sure.
Yeah.
But he's very, very intense during those practices.
Yeah,
There's a lot of yelling. But a lot of his yelling is positive.
Yes.
There you go, Tron.
Yeah.
Tron, J Trav, he says that a lot. There you go, J Trav, he says that a lot. But and there you go, Jar Jar Picks. There you go. That's why we call you that.
All right. What about Jordan, Russell Wilson? Is anybody that Jared Verse reminds you of?
Changing the game.
Nick or Joey? You don't not Bosa. You don't have a preference. He's more to me, or Joey. Joey's surly.
More Joey. Okay, I was going to say more Nick, obviously, honestly. So I like they're both apt comparisons, though. They both work.
Major League Baseball is finally back in full swing, and MyBookie is going to be your one-stop shop for all your betting needs this season. With a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, and futures, MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. You can also take advantage of the brand-new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at an insanely boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie.ag using the promo code WARCHANT to secure a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's easy. Deposit like $200. You'll have $300 to play with instantly when you use the promo code WARCHANT to claim that first deposit bonus. So if you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the new season, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now. Get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, promo code WARCHANT. All right. Random_John. Good morning. May this week find you pumped as Corey's guns after an explosive workout at Planet Fitness.
Well, not Planet Fitness, though, but I appreciate it. They are explosive.
On to the question. Since there isn't much positive to pick apart and it's a holiday week, let's go a little fun. If the basketball team season was a movie, what would be the title and who would play the lead role? You can name it anything you like or use an existing movie title. Here are my suggestions for movie titles: The Hoops Wreckers, From Champions to Chumps, Airballs in Anguish, The Hoops Horror Show, Dunking Disaster, Last Place Legends. I'm John, you might need to go like buy a plant and grab some ice cream. Let's have a good day. Just hang out. Let's relax. Maybe log off for a day or two.
I appreciate the creativity, though, John. That's a real hard question. I wish I'd have known this was coming beforehand. That's a hard question to be put on the spot and answer. Man, give me until the end of the show,
okay?
Because I'm sure there's a very good answer out there, but I don't know what one is. Right, Gone in 40 minutes. I don't know. I was thinking of Gone in 60 Seconds, but that didn't make sense because the games last longer than 60 seconds.
Who plays the lead role, though? Is John Voight going to be the Ham? Like just a legend, like on his last leg, or like Nick Nolte? Is he going to have to maybe cut some corners, or like will it be Coach Carter? Although I never saw Coach Carter, so I can't even like find any semblance of what his persona was.
Wasn't that Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah.
And Coach Carter? Yeah. I think Channing Tatum was one of the players in it, if I remember correctly. He was one of the kids that may do.
All right, so yeah, Corey will brainstorm here as we got two more questions to give us the basketball analogy, and then the lead role of, because I don't know who would be the who would, if this was a movie this past season, like who's the lead character? Like, is it Caleb Mills? Like, are we gonna blame as either the scapegoat now for all of us? Is it Ham?
I mean, I feel like it's still got to be Ham, but
yeah.
I don't want to. Ham's had too many good moments to like poke fun at him. I don't want to do that. I'd rather just poke fun. I don't know the lead actor, lead character. We'll figure out a name for it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Primetime 92. All right, he asks us questions that have nothing to do with sports, which is cool sometimes. What's your worst breakup story? Thanks as always. Back-to-back positive shots to the solar plexus there, gentlemen. Good stuff. I'll go first. I haven't been in that many relationships, so I don't have that many breakup stories. The worst was probably the young lady I dated in Mississippi. She was awesome. She was great, and it was St. Patrick's Day. Picture it, 2012, St. Patrick's Day, Jackson, Mississippi. Beautiful day. Jackson goes hard AF for St. Patrick's Day, and like we went out and did the whole on downtown catching beads, whatever. We went out and grabbed like food after, and I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. We had like a little bit of a tiff a few months before, and I was like, hey, we'll get back together. And like we're out having dinner afterwards, and she asked me some question. And listen, this in hindsight, I'm a complete jerk, I guess, for saying this, but I totally felt like this in the moment, and it was honest, and I didn't know what else to do. But she was just like saying something about the way I treat her or something, not like a bad thing. And then I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, I think you like me more than I like you.
Oh my God,
that's what I said. And like,
you said it out loud?
Yeah. So, but we were talking about it in the terms of like, I think there's always an imbalance in relationships. I think there's always like, not forever, but like there's a month where maybe like your significant other is maybe on your nerves a little bit more than usual. Then you're on their nerves a little bit more than usual next month. And it works itself out. The law of averages or whatever. But like she dropped her silverware and she was just like, I don't want to eat. We're leaving. I'm like, okay. And she drove. So I had to drive back with her to her apartment. And she put on this Black Keys song, Lonely Boy, Bad Boy. I don't know the Black Keys music catalog, but she turned it up so loud. And I tried to turn it down because it was uncomfortable, and she smacked my hand and turned it up even louder. And I had to sit in the car, and I feel like we hit every single red light on the way back to her apartment. She's crying. I feel like a complete jerk. And then we got back to her apartment, and then she just like I walk up, I'm like, let's just talk. And she like curls up in a ball on the sofa and like cries. And she's like, just leave. And I'm like, okay. But we're friends and we're cool and everything now, so it's fine. But yeah, that was uncomfortable.
But you didn't fight for it at all. You're just like, okay, well, you don't want to be with me anymore, so I'm done.
Well, she told me to leave. I'm like, all right, well, like you're crying and I made you upset. Like, I'm
like contextualize what you meant by what you said earlier, or were you just like you said the thing you said? She dropped her silverware, and then it was just silence.
Yeah, more of that. How can you really contextualize that? I mean,
you could be like, look, that's who I am, though. I don't fall hard for people. Maybe I've hit my ceiling for how hard I can fall for anyone, and it's with you. I just don't know that, though.
Oh, but all right. Well, I guess, but that would have been lying, Corey. I was just trying to be honest.
I mean, you don't have to hurt people's feelings, though.
But I didn't. It was in the context that I was telling my brother. We were drunk. That was the conversation. I was talking to her about hanging out with my brother because I'd been home the week before, and my brother had this whole thing about like, yeah, man, like it's always. He's like, I'm better off if the girl likes me more than I like her, or maybe it was vice versa. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I just think it needs to balance out eventually. He's like, no, man. I need to be in this position or whatever. And then I said that out loud, and it didn't go over well. So beat that, Corey. Top that. Or do you want to punt?
I don't have one.
Question? All right.
What about Super Bad?
Okay.
The name for the movie, for the basketball team.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There you go.
Super Duper Bad. really, really super duper bad. No, I don't. I mean, Shannon and I's was amicable enough. We have a very good relationship now. My same thing with my ex girlfriend from high school. Kind of just went our just yeah. No, I have a terrible one. Well, Stephanie last night, that was a bad one. I didn't want to bring that up, but just kidding, just kidding. She's not listening to this. It doesn't matter.
She usually doesn't make the minute 50. It's fine.
No. She listens for 12 minutes. She'll ask me if I gave her a shout out. For this one, I will definitely tell her no. I will say, hey, go listen to Aslan's fun story about his worst breakup. See what you think. See if I gave the right advice.
All right, Mahogany Strat, last one. Imagine it's post-spring, the portal is open back up, and there are placement level or better players available at every position. You have 2 scholarships. What position are you bolstering? Or positions, plural. You do have 2 scholarships after all.
After the end of spring, he's saying.
Yeah.
Defensive end for sure to me.
Yes.
Safety. And safety.
Yeah.
I also would not look, man. If an incredible wide receiver is out there, I might make a run at that too. But I just feel so much confidence that that wide receiver crew, along with that entire offense. Jaheim Bell is basically he's a bigger wide receiver, but he's going to be a pass catcher. You've got a great pass catcher that you brought in, along with Morlock too, who's going to be pretty good, I think. I just think that offense is going to average about 40 points a game, whether you go get Marvin Harrison Jr. or not. Well, he'd add a little bit more than that, I'm sure. But I just worry more about that defense and the depth at defensive end specifically, and the depth at safety specifically. Well, not even the depth at safety. It's just it's so unproven. You've got 4 or 5 guys that are rotating back there, but defensive end, you got 2 guys that you got Peyton and Verse, and then the Edmond kid, and then you got a whole bunch of question marks. And I just think of a defense. I think defensive end to me is priority 1.
Absolutely. And I agree. I think safety as well. I'm sure there's some people that might be talking about linebacker. Wouldn't turn that down. It just, I couldn't imagine all those other positions. Like, it would have to be somebody incredible, like to Corey's point, like a Marvin Harrison Jr., for you to think about a receiver or an offensive lineman or another running back, tight end, obviously. They're totally set there. You like what you have at defensive tackle on the interior. It's like it's end, it's linebacker, and it's safeties.
How about this little wrench into it? Okay. A really good underclassman quarterback that wants to grow under Norvell, knowing he won't play in 2023.
Yeah, I mean, I want to turn it down. Yeah, we have no idea
or
what
a safety
2024 holds. Or a safety.
Senior safety.
We're all in, right? Isn't that what the Battle's End hashtag is or whatever? Going for it all in 2023. So yeah, no, I would take the safety over the quarterback. Because this year, it's a confluence, man. It's all these guys are here. They're all not going to be here next year for that really good quarterback to throw to and build the team around. So I think you have to be pretty short-sighted. Or maybe that's why I talk on a podcast. I don't actually coach.
Well, who knows, man? Hey, I think I'm with you. Quarterbacks aren't guaranteed successes. I just that'd give me a little pause thinking about, okay, man, we might be really set up for a nice 2-year run at quarterback after Jordan leaves if this kid comes.
Not a bad idea, Corey. Not a bad idea.
All right,
that's par for the course for you. Usually solid ideas. Always.
Thanks, buddy.
Ideas.
I appreciate that.
All right, that's a wrap for us. We'll be back out at practice today, and then we'll have a Friday pod. It'll probably be pretty brief. I might try to actually get on the road after the podcast after practice so I can go help my mother move, Corey. She finally she's got a new house, so I got to go help her move, be a good son. We got her out of a townhouse. Now she's like in a 1-floor home, so that's good. Good for the
okay, nice.
Good for the joints and such. And yeah, man, like
are y'all moving? You're not like hiring a moving company. You're actually like loading up a truck yourself.
No,
or are you just packing up boxes?
She's hiring movers, but I don't know, emotional support, I guess. But no, I'm gonna go help her like shampoo the carpets in the bedrooms. It's like tile and wood everywhere, but the bedrooms are carpeted. So I'm like, all right, I'll rent a shampooer and I'll shampoo the rest.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Help hang in photos and artwork and all that kind of stuff. So I'll do that. I'll go do that. So. And I'll call my ex-girlfriend on the drive down, and I'll tell her I'll apologize again for what I said. I'll tell you that.
Tell her what I said.
My co-host.
They're like, look, what was that? 12 years ago now? 11 years ago? You're like, look, I've had 10 years of hindsight.
To ruminate.
When I answered that question, I don't know that I could care for anybody else more than I cared for you at that time. I figured out I probably can't. You were the ceiling.
Aw.
But I'm not into you. I don't want to date. But that would make her feel good about that. That probably wasn't one of her best nights of her life. Is she married now with kids and having a good life?
No, that's a crazy thing, man. And she's really pretty, and she lives in Mississippi. She's like she's probably like a Jackson, 9. And it's crazy. She hasn't maybe I was it for her. Maybe she was it for me, and just I ruined it for both of us, unfortunately.
Well, you didn't though. That you got time left to live in your life, Aslan. Come, you can circle back.
Yeah,
it's out there.
It's
out there now. What a wonderful love story that would be.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know. I'll have her send me a photo or two, see how she's looking. I haven't seen her in a while. Gotta make sure.
Jeez, let's end the show.
All right, we're done. It's been Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. The opinions on the show are not that of our sponsors. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening. We'll catch up with y'all tomorrow.